So welcome everyone to the Facilitator Networking Meeting for Northern Region. My name is Alex and I've got Maddie with me today, and we'll be running you through this morning's presentation, and then we'll have some time for networking and Q&A at the end.
I would like to begin, though, by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we are presenting from today, the Turrbal and Yagara people, for those of us who are here in the office, and along with the traditional owners of where you're joining us from today. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Just a bit of a brief agenda for today's session is on the screen there. Today we're going to be talking all about partnerships. So we'll talk about what makes a good partner, how to be clear about your goals and what you can offer, how to build those mutually beneficial partnerships, and with those groups and organisations that make really great country kitchens partners. So as Alex said, after that we'll do the Q&A and networking session. And obviously anyone watching this after the fact, if you have any questions, you can feel free to send those in or pop them in the facilitated network if you have some thoughts or questions about the meeting today.
Okay, so we'll start with, I guess, why we should even bother with partnerships. So no organisation can do everything on its own. And some of the most successful community initiatives happen when people and organisations work together. So building those partnerships can help us extend the reach of the Country Kitchens program by connecting with more people in our communities. So by working together, we can share the workload and resources, making activities that little bit easier to deliver and more enjoyable. Partnerships also provide opportunities to meet new people, learn about other organisations and services, and strengthen community connections to achieve better outcomes for our communities together.
So the word partnership can sound a little bit formal, but really we're just talking about building relationships with people or organisations who share a common purpose or values or goals. So from a QCWA and a Country Kitchens perspective, some of these might include improving the health and well-being of our communities, improving food literacy, building friendships, building that sense of community and connection, and also advocacy as well. So some organisations that might have that common sort of purpose or values and goals are places like schools, childcare organisations, local councils, community support services, neighbourhood and community centres, and we sort of share a few more examples of those later in the presentation. But there are several elements that go into making a productive community partnership. And firstly, a good partnership should be mutually beneficial. So that means that everyone involved is able to achieve positive outcomes for themselves or their organisation. The QCWA is a highly valued organisation and is often highly sought after to participate in local events. And while a lot of people may want to partner with the QCWA or Country Kitchens, not every partnership will be the right fit, and it's important to consider what both partners will get out of the partnership. Secondly, a hallmark of a strong partnership is good communication and trust. So that can build over time. However, having some clear and consistent communication from all sides is really important for a really strong partnership, especially for a long-term partnership. And lastly, a good partnership will be sustainable and manageable. So as a volunteer, we want you to enjoy yourself, not feel overwhelmed by the partnership you build. And I guess partnerships that are sustainable can grow and evolve over time and match the capacity that you have.
Okay, so one way we like to think about partnerships is a bit like a growing plant. So starting with the seed, obviously, this could be an initial conversation you have with someone you meet at a local event, or might be a letter of introduction that you send to an organisation that you would like to work with. Once the seed is planted, this may then sprout as a one-off activity to start with, something like setting up a static display. You might do a presentation using the flipbook, or you might have an interactive showcase at an event in collaboration with that partner. Once the relationship is established, this may grow into more regular collaboration. So, for example, this could develop into running a monthly cooking demonstration at a local neighbourhood centre or organising a cooking workshop series. Eventually, you may reach the fruiting stage where you've built a trusted long-term relationship with everyone working together towards the same goals. This is often the stage where Country Kitchens becomes a bit more embedded into the partner organisation. But it's important to just keep in mind that partnerships will look very different depending on the nature of what you're trying to achieve. They may not progress very far. They might be a bit slower to become established. However, all partnerships are still really valuable and can be a great learning experience for building future relationships. And then in keeping with our plant analogy, growing a partnership does require attention and care. You can't plant a seed and then expect it to become a productive plant without any effort. So today we'll go through a few different considerations for how we can grow those partnerships.
I guess before we do think about who to partner with, it is helpful to determine what your goals are, which make it sort of easier to decide which opportunities are a good fit and which ones might not be and you might pass up on. Each of you will have your own interests and capacity when it comes to Country Kitchens and the types of activities that you want to deliver. So you may be in a branch, for example, where you are the sole facilitator, while other branches may have several facilitators who like to do activities together. Whatever your circumstances, though, are, the first question to ask is, what do you want to achieve? This could be wanting to share your passion for cooking or health, or increasing people's confidence to cook at home, or just even connecting with your community. It may revolve around reducing social isolation or increasing your branch engagement. The next thing that you might like to ask is who do we want to reach? So who are the people in your community that you would like to have a positive impact on? It could be anyone from children, parents, carers, those in financial hardship, or people living with a disability, for an example. So defining who you want to reach can help direct your organisation, organisation that will support this goal. And then the last thing to think about is what activities you want to deliver or what activities you have the capacity to deliver. Some of you might be keen to do cooking demonstrations or showcases, while others may be more interested in delivering cooking workshops or a walking group or an activity like the Supermarket Superheroes project where you partner with a local supermarket. So knowing what activities you do and don't want to do will make it easier to say yes or no when an opportunity arises.
Okay, so a partnership is also about sharing resources with everyone sort of bringing their skills and resources to the table. So it can be easy to underestimate what we bring to the table as facilitators, but we actually have a lot to offer. So just being able to deliver health promotion and interactive activities at a low cost is so valuable to community organisations and is often something that they don't really have access to from their local health services. So as a facilitator, you have received evidence-based nutrition training through the Country Kitchens pathway, but you also bring your own valuable knowledge, expertise and passion, whether that be your practical cooking skills and tips, might be ideas for saving money or different professional skills, just to name a few. But your time is incredibly valuable. And through volunteering, you're providing something that many organisations simply wouldn't have the resources to offer otherwise. Along with the skills that you bring, Country Kitchen's activities do come with really high quality resources, recipes, and kitchen equipment that can be used. And as a QCWA branch, it's likely that you already have some fantastic connections within your community. So look to these connections and see how you can utilise them as well. And then lastly, another resource is the support of the Country Kitchens team. So we can help with planning and managing your activities, as well as tailoring and adjusting activities to suit the group that you're wanting to work with. And just as a recent example, Pine Rivers branch have been delivering cooking workshops for a group with intellectual disabilities. So they've partnered with an organisation that provides support services for these individuals. And for this group, we were able to provide some adapted flipbook pages. So we really went through the recipes step by step. We touched on food safety in a bit more detail. Really simplifying the language and having lots of pictures. So we were able to ensure that those resources in that workshop could really suit the needs of the group we were working with.
So now that we've talked a little bit more about what makes a good partnership, I think now might be a good time to think about the practical things we might need from a partner. So they will vary depending on the activity that you are wanting to run. So when it comes to delivering when it comes to delivering the delivery of an activity, we might be looking for a partner who can provide tangible resources. So tangible resources might be a venue, a kitchen, or tables or chairs, for example. There may also be a need for practical support. So the organisation may be able to take on some of the administrative load by taking activity registration, say for a cooking workshop, advertising and promoting an event, or assisting in the delivery of an activity. So maybe they could help set up tables and chairs. Just having those extra pairs of hands to support the activity is an important resource. There may also be the need for financial support, so primarily in covering the cost of ingredients or consumables for cooking workshops or cooking demonstrations. So some organisations might have the capacity to fund that. They might be able to assist with applying for grants, or also assist in taking payments from participants, or making donations to the branch as another way of supporting. And finally, finding a partner who can assist with connecting you to the people you want to reach is invaluable. So if a partner has established relationships with people in the community already, it can be much easier to engage those participants that you're looking to engage in your particular activity in those activities with those existing connections. So that means then you can have a bit of a greater impact and reach more people rather than sort of starting from scratch and trying to reach those people yourself. A partner may also have great local knowledge and other existing networks that can increase the success of your activity.
Okay, so when it comes to finding partners, many of you will already have people or organisations that come to mind that you might already have a relationship with in your community. For example, you may be a former teacher with connections to your local school, or you might have a friend who works at a local disability service. But many partnerships do start with something very simple, a conversation at an event, an introduction from a friend, or simply someone hearing about Country Kitchens and wanting to know more. So if you're looking to make more connections in your community, attending local events and having a presence there can be a great way to, I guess, organically meet people, whether it's visiting a local expo, a community market or show, or a school fete. You might get an opportunity to meet people in person and start those conversations about Country Kitchens that way.
So, when looking for a partner for Country Kitchen's activities, a good rule of thumb is to go where the people are. So, find an organisation that exists that already has established connections or relationships with the people that you would like to work with or that you would like to reach. So, for example, if you're wanting to work with children, get in touch with your local school or kindergarten rather than waiting for them to come to you. You're welcome to reach out to them and let them know that the program is in the area. If you wanted to connect with the community, a neighbourhood centre or a men's shed are a great potential partner. Local councils may run events or have grants that you could apply for to fund your community activities. There is no one type of partner, and this will look very different for each community. So some more specific examples of community partners that are that Country Kitchen's activities might work well with, and some of our facilitators have connected with are partners like Anglicare, Star Community Services, Step Up, Step Down, which is a mental health service. We've partnered with the Gladstone Airport for some promotion of the Country Kitchens program. Farmers markets, libraries, churches, community gardens, youth organisations, and we've also connected with groups that support the financially vulnerable groups in the community as well to support with cooking on a budget.
Okay. So we will just finish off by sharing an example of from Mackay branch. So they partnered with the Mackay farmers markets over this past year. And we'll just sort of, I guess, talk about how that started and how it's developed. So two facilitators, Janice and Marjorie, have been holding a showcase at the Wednesday farmers markets during the school holidays, so usually twice in each holiday period. So this partnership initially started as Marjorie had previously been involved with the market, so there was a connection there. The markets were really keen to have a country kitchen stall and were able to secure some funding from Mackay Regional Council to support with this. So the funding did cover the cost of a market tent and tables, which are now stored at the hall there. They also reimbursed the cost of ingredients that were purchased to make the taste testers for each market. So initially, the partnership started off with as a demonstration showcase. So there was a set time during the markets that people could come along and see the cooking demo take place. The council helped out by providing guidance for food safety, with the setup of the stall being compliant with food safety standards. So this worked really well for a few markets, but it did require a lot of work, a lot of setup. The cooking equipment had to be transported into the markets. They required power for cooking and also relied on market goers to actually come to the stall at a specific time to view the demo. And so due to, I guess, some of these challenges, the ladies did decide to change their approach. So swapped from a demonstration showcase to an interactive showcase instead. And they had 2 taste testers available at each market. These were prepared in advance. So this was able to, I guess, make the activity a little bit more streamlined and enjoyable. But another part of being involved in the markets was wanting to highlight local produce. So Marjorie also had connections with farmers in the region and tried to really choose recipes from country kitchens that included seasonal produce that's available locally. So where possible, this produce would be purchased from local farmers. So I guess this is just a great example of a partnership that's flexible and how it just shows how the different players can be involved and contribute different and share different resources. Okay.
I might just jump in if that's okay, Alex. Given that Marjorie's online, I might just ask if she has anything to add in terms of the partnership, if there was anything further she'd like to share from her perspective. Feel free to say no, Marjorie. That's okay too. I can see you're outside.
And you are on mute, so we can't hear you. I'll see if I can.
You can ask her.
Yeah, that might pop up an option to unmute there for you.
Oh, she's frozen, I think, now.
Oh no.
I lost.
Okay. I've unmuted it.
Yeah,
can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yep.
Oh, you can hear me. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
The farmers market partnership is that they've been really supportive of country kitchens, and anything that we felt enhanced what we did, they would support us, and I just think we are really lucky to have that partnership. But in saying that, like, I have known these people, for 10 years, etc. So like that, it was an easy way in. But but very, like, they're on board with the country kitchen messaging, and and I think it's a win-win for both of us, for country kitchens and for the Mackay as well.
Yeah. No, that's great. And it does show how important it is, I guess, to have those shared interests and values when choosing an organisation to partner with. Thank you, Marjorie.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, well,
that's okay. Now I have to. Will you mute me, please?
Yeah,
because I'm with some really rowdy people.
Yeah, no, I can mute you from our end. Thanks, Marjorie. All right.
So that kind of brings us to the end of the partnerships, I guess, presentation. So thank you for listening. And yeah, again, anyone on line, thank you for listening. And if you do have questions, if you're listening after the fact, feel free to share them. But we did want to give everyone that is online at the moment the opportunity to share any experiences with building partnerships in your community. Or just have a think about a couple of questions that we've got here. So what is a partnership that you've developed as a Country Kitchens facilitator? What are some of the challenges that you may have had building a partnership? Or are there any tips you would like to share that you have that sort of helped you build a partnership? Feel free to share if you have some insight, or pop in the chat box if that's easier as well. Otherwise, if you don't have anything directly to share, feel free to ask any questions that you might have about building partnerships, or maybe you've kind of started a partnership and you want to talk about how you might progress that specifically, or anything that you might like to ask us, feel free.
I'm just wondering, I know you've got your camera off, Sandra, but if you wanted to share a little bit about the upcoming initiative that you've got in the pipeline happening.
I wasn't sure whether I should, Alex.
No, please do.
Okay, so my idea was to start, and I must say this was a little tiny seedling of an idea, but it's evolved into something major for our Dayboro community, where I've started, we're calling it Field to Fork. So, and it's for a teenage group of kids where we're showing them the basics of growing their own vegetables and then taking it into the kitchen to cook with it. And we're using the platform of Country Kitchens to ensure that they understand how to cook healthy. I have had a grant approved by council. I've had huge support from the community. Even though Dayboro is tiny, it's like we're a Brisbane size community.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Because of the support that we've received.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And you've been able to, I guess, bring other people with different skills into this initiative as well?
Absolutely. So through just conversation with people I've met, I've had people, like I've got a qualified chef coming in to teach knife skills, and I sorted she's going to be running the show basically. She's the qualified chef.
Yeah.
And I've got other volunteers who bring their own skill set as well. So we're going to be running them through the supervisor training for food handling certificate as well. And each participant, each teenager will also be receiving one of those as well. They'll be doing those online.
Wonderful.
The
And have
aim,
you got avid gardeners helping with the
I do,
growing? Yep.
I do. One particular person, he is into horticulture, so he is educated in that field, and
Yep.
he's bringing all that knowledge forward. I've also had Bunnings come to us, and we've established a partnership with Bunnings where they've actually donated everything for the garden.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's impressive. It's like over close to $1,000 already that they have.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Yep. And
So
then for the venue, these will be held at the
at our
showgrounds.
Debra Showgrounds. They've got a commercial kitchen there.
Yep.
It's not fully equipped, but it does the job for us.
Yep.
And that's where I was able to get the grant to pay for that facility to
Okay. Yeah.
rental. Yeah.
I think that's a wonderful example of how you can really, partner with many different people and, well, I guess the local council to sort of put all those resources together into something that sounds like a very exciting initiative. I'm very excited to support with that and see how it all unfolds.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Sandra. All right. Well, we do have just another quick reminder about blue cards again. So just quickly, if you have an existing blue card and you haven't already, please send us your blue card number and date of birth. This is just so that we can make sure that your blue card is linked to the QCWA. You do need to have your blue card linked with every organisation through which you work with children. So you can have that one same blue card linked with many different organisations. If you are currently working with children and don't yet have a blue card, please get in touch with your Country Kitchens buddy so we can support you with applying for one. It is free to apply for a volunteer blue card and it can be done online. So we can support you through those different steps. Basically, you need to make an account and begin the application process. Then you get to a stage where we need to find your account and link it to the QCWA, and then you can log back on, finish the application process, and then receive the card at the end. So please get in touch with us if you haven't started this process yet. And then just before we wrap up, if anyone does have any other questions about anything that was covered, or maybe you've got some questions about some upcoming activities that you're planning, please feel free to.
Or you might have questions for each other if you've heard, these other partnerships that people have going. If you have any questions for anyone else on today, feel free to take the opportunity to ask. Otherwise, no, okay. Well, if you do think of any questions or anything after the fact, you know where to find us. You can send us an email. As I said, the Fabulous Facilitator Network Facebook group is a great place to ask questions, share information. So feel free to use that. Otherwise, thank you so much for attending today, and we will be sending a feedback survey out, I believe, just to, if you have any feedback, or you might even like to share additional information via that as well. But thank you for joining us this morning, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, bye.